Welcome to another episode of SFN News. I'm Diane. Thank you for joining us. This episode, we just want to say thank you. We want to thank you for your participation. We want to thank you for actively watching our show year after year after year. So that's all we want to say today, but I have a special treat for you. I always talk about the importance of education, accountability with our children, our young people. And so my son is here today, and his name is Dr. Gregory Eugene Holloway. He is a doctor of public policy, and he is going to wrap up this show today. I'll be back in a little bit. Hold on.
Hello, Bay Area, and thank you again. From simply the point of returning home, I can only express gratitude. We live in a climate today where they've often say the Wizard of Oz theme, and hopefully I'm getting copyright infringement, but there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And I think that this show has echoed that. For the last 19 years, we've tried to make sure that people in the Bay Area understood there's no place like home. We tried to amplify the voices of those who didn't quite align with our thought, because again, there's no place like home. We tried to reach out to other communities and other individuals and let them know that they were not ignored and that their concerns, not just in the Bay Area, but throughout, were important. And so for that, again, there's no place like home. This journey can never end with one show, one mindset, because I think their overarching goal was to attack and support. And when I say attack, that doesn't mean go out and cause ruckus or mayhem. It means a strategic approach to improving systematic change that allows all of us to enjoy the Bay Area, San Francisco that we love. And so that allows me to focus on what I think is a key point. Today is a transition show in which we don't know what is next, but we know who is next. And that's you, the viewer. And so again, we've tried to capture what I think is in one simple sentence, that SFN News, has been about intent and impact. And what I mean by that statement is intent has been our ability to design a show that was catered for the people. And the impact is how we have seen the ripple effect. The political guests we've had have gone out and had a huge impact throughout San Francisco. The social impact, and the intent was to amplify to small restaurants and businesses, and who have seen an uptick in participation and patronship. We've also seen the development of a show that says, to you, the viewer, let us know what you're thinking, let us know what you're feeling, and invite many cross-cultural, cross-political people on the show to just share their views. And again, the impact is still being measured. But again, you want to make sure when you're having a show like this that you understand when it's time to transition to a different voice. And we're at that point now. SFN News has carried the torch and now is ready to pass the torch. And so simply I say to all those involved, it has been a wonderful journey of intent and impact. But before we close, I want to hit a couple of really interesting topics that I think the next focus of the show and of our voices should be. The amplification of minority voices throughout the community has shared an open light that we live in a very contentious political climate. And so someone once said to me, I don't understand. And I replied and said, are you seeking to understand? If you seek to understand, you will. Doesn't mean that you necessarily will agree. Doesn't mean that you'll align with those thoughts, but understanding someone's different lens or point of view is the essence of this show. Because again, my intent may to be, I'm right, but the impact can have lasting adverse outcomes. And so when we're speaking about us as a community, amplifying voices, agreeing to disagree, and minimizing this hostile climate in which one of us has to be right or one of us has to be wrong, it becomes kind of a deficit mindset. There's enough space politically and socially for us all to agree to disagree. Because again, the intent is for us to unify, but the impact when we fight for being right and wrong has a different approach. Secondly, I like to focus on how we highlighted some of the small businesses and restaurants. And you don't need us as a show to do that. Look into your communities. Look into your neighborhoods. There are new restaurants and coffee shops and opportunities that individuals in this Bay Area have taken to give us a different environment, to give us a different experience, from food to culture to music to even art. So I'm challenging my viewers and all of us in the community to continue to support those small businesses and those ideas. Attend festivals and functions and political rallies, attend social events and musical concerts that allow you to expand your understanding. Because again, if you seek to understand, it can be an attainable goal. The third point I'd like to focus on is becoming bilingual. And our host, Diane, is going to take on that endeavor. Me as the guest host, I'm also going to take on that endeavor, and try to learn Spanish. My focus moving forward is to enhance my ability with the Latino community. And in order to enhance the ability to communicate, I must take time to learn the language. And so I'm challenging you to do that too. So all the information that I can receive, I can share in an articulate and succinct manner with many communities that may not be my own. As a native San Franciscan, it has always been a melting pot. It's always been an opportunity for me to see life from many different lenses. And this show has been another vehicle on that. So I'd like to give a couple of shout outs. First of all, to the wonderful gentleman, Javon Giles. This show is critical. He's critical to the networking, to the content, to the development, and the distribution of the show. And he will continue several endeavors moving forward, so stay tuned. Secondly, I'd like to thank my mom. There is no point in my journey that she hasn't been a part of. I sit here today as a Lowell graduate, as a UNLV undergraduate, a UNLV master's graduate, and also a doctorate in public policy. So my goal is to continue to enhance outcomes for students who are in the foster care system, who don't have the biological family support that they need. And we all know how important that is to the development of human beings, as well as our culture in whole. And as we move, I pause because there's just so many people I'd like to thank. I can't possibly go through the entire list, but if I don't mention your name, please know that you're an integral part of this show and the opportunities that we provided to other guests to come on and voice their opinions. Again, hostility is not met with hostility. It's met with kindness because, again, we have the ability to create what I think is not just a fantasy of the Wizard of Oz, but there is no place like home. And so we must amplify the voices, support people in their endeavors, and be the kind of community that wraps their arms around those and seeks to understand. We go for impact along with intent. So it's not just enough to vote. We have to make our votes count and make them sensible. It's not just enough to participate in community activism. We have to raise generations that understand the importance of doing that. And it's not just enough to have a show. If this show doesn't lead to another show or more conversations, then again, we haven't done our full job. So at this point, 19 years strong, moving in the right direction, closing 2025, I want to say again, thank you, because you and I and all those a part of this team have helped to try to preserve something we all grew up with, the San Francisco we know and love, affordable housing, community activism, great music culture, and obviously phenomenal sports teams as well. This is the goal of SFN News. This is the goal of San Franciscans and all Bay Areans, to understand the simple concept. There is no place like home. I turn it back over to our wonderful host, Diane, and I thank you for the time that I've had with you as an audience, creating content and supporting agendas for the place that I've always loved, San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us again for yet another episode of SFN News. We appreciate your viewers, all of you viewers, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, remember, be kind, take care of yourself, and stay informed and stay engaged. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.